Hello everyone and welcome to this video brought to you by the Lewis Art. My name is Emmanuel Okafo and today is going to be a different type of content which than we usually have here. Today we have an honored guest and that guest is CEO and creative director of an animation studio in Africa. So let's welcome Mr. Francis Joshua Brown.
Hello, my brother. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you for joining me with this call. I know you have a lot of things going on for you, and I really appreciate you taking your time out to kind of do this with me.
Thank you for having me here.
If you're not familiar with the guy himself, I will just give you some little overview of his accomplishments. So, like I said, he's the CEO and creative director of Animax FYB, that specializes in visual effects, 2D animation, and 3D animation. This is an animation studio based in Ghana, and that is leading the way of for the West African animation market. They have produced award-winning animations and currently have a show on Amazon called Morphra. So this studio was started in 2014 and they have stayed strong to today. So let's talk to the CEO and kind of get some knowledge because that's basically what we're doing today to kind of get inspired by him and kind of learn from his experience so that we can apply it in our journey as artists. So can you tell us about your background, please?
So my name is Francis White Brown once again, and my background is actually in art. I'm an artist. I was born an artist, so I went to secondary school and I trained in visual arts department.
Oh,
I was a visual artist. From there, I came out to be a graphic designer because I had to convert my traditional art into digital art.
okay.
So that's where I started
Did you like study?
crossing over.
Did you study in Ghana or are you like a diaspora? Did you study outside Ghana?
And no, I studied throughout in Ghana.
Okay.
Yeah, so my secondary school, I went to a school called St. John's School. It's an all boys school. I did visual art there, and then from St. John's, I did some working outside school for some years as a graphic designer.
Okay.
I started out as an intern, and I was I became an employee. Then
What field were you like employed in? Like, was it less fun
uh,
compared to art?
it was graphic designing. I needed to understand the tools
Okay.
that will help me uh, shape up my future, my vision and dreams of becoming a full digital artist.
Okay.
So it started out as a graphic design artist.
Yeah.
And I was using softwares like CorelDRAW, Photoshop, Illustrator, Corel Paint. And then later on, I was introduced to Maya.
Okay.
As at the time, it was called Alias,
Yeah. Yeah.
Alias 4.
That's a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very long time ago. Yeah, so I was using Alias, and they finally changed the name to Maya. And yeah, so after some time, my boss at the studio, graphic designing studio, told me I have a lot of potential, and it would be sad for me to waste it in his space just doing graphic design work. So I should go back to school.
Okay.
So he introduced me to the film school here, where I
Dear in
went to
Ghana.
pursue my. Yes, the school is called National Film and Television Institute,
Okay.
NAFTI.
Did they like specialize
Yes.
with animation, or is it something you actually had to learn for yourself?
Okay, so they have different departments. It's a film school. So we had the animation department. We also had the TV producers. We had the documentary producers. We had the live action film producers.
Okay.
Uh, and I was offered animation, which I actually selected from on my forms,
Yeah.
and I got it. The year that we were applying, the school had about 3,000 people applying for the
Wow.
school.
So it's like you have to be
Yes,
special to get in.
yeah. You have to. The school, it's a very small school, so and they intend to make things like niche. So what happened was out of the 3,000, they had to screen it down to about 150 people. And even with that 150 people, they had to also do common entrance exams
Yeah, we do that back in
and
Nigeria too.
interview.
Yeah.
It's crazy,
Yeah, yeah,
right? And it makes you very nervous and tense.
yeah,
If
honestly.
keep on hoping and praying that you get through. And fortunately enough, out of the 35 students who were selected from the 150,
Yeah,
I was part of it. Then I was in the animation department.
yeah,
I did 2 years of liberal studies, which means that I did all round studies on filmmaking
yeah.
to equip myself to be a filmmaker proper.
Do you think you will?
Then the next 2 years,
Do you think you will like your do you with your current experience? Do you think the art schools actually do justice in teaching young artists on the right path or showing them, or do you feel like most of the stuff they do is just basically information that are good, some basic stuff, but they don't really guide you through everything you need to know?
yeah. So you see, I love my school. I love my school so much. But I'll tell you that um, the technical know-how, most of the time, schools don't give it to you.
Yeah, honestly.
Schools are not able to give you the industry insight.
Yeah,
They are not
that's true.
able to give you, equip you properly for you to actually enter the industry and be on your feet.
Yeah.
But rather, what the school does for you is it opens you up to a whole lot of things.
Mm.
It gives you soft skill in terms of how to be a team player,
Yeah.
how to
That's definitely very
communicate.
important. Yeah.
Yes, it gives you a very good insight to the do's and the don'ts of the craft. So it sets you apart from someone who didn't really go to film school. That's the truth. If you work on the field, you get to know that you understand the reason why you're making a character move a certain way or react in a certain way, the psychology behind everything that you do. But as a technical person from the field who just started as an apprentice, you're more like a tool user.
Yeah, you're more like just going open my ear up and just create a random character you don't really
Yeah,
understand.
because you can create it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
exactly.
So like you said, you went to film school, which played a big factor in your career. So why do you think animation, be it 2D or 3D, can be? Why do you choose that medium as a tool to use to tell your story? Because you have proven that you're a good storyteller, and that shows from the work your company puts out. Um, why do you think 2D and 3D is a good tool or a good medium to do that?
So basically, it normally depends on the subjects that I'm touching on,
Okay.
and also the kind of audience that I'm trying to target. For the audience, so if I know that I'm targeting an audience that are now developing their minds, like the early age kids,
Yeah.
so 2 years to maybe 6, 7 years, you know that you need to tone it down.
Yeah.
It needs to be simple characters, simple animation style. And the best style that can achieve that is 2D.
Yeah.
And if you want to capture those with a lot of energy and want to have fun, it can be 2D but with more action, fast paced kind of stories.
So
Things
like
that are flashy, the
so
colors.
so using
So it depends on.
using 3D doesn't, it's not because it's a cheaper medium, especially when it comes to scale, because 2D can be quite hectic and more expensive because everything has to be hand drawn, but 3D can be cheaper if you want, if you actually plan better. So that's not like a consideration for you. You just prefer use it as a tool.
uh,
Yeah.
Yes, yes. But to me, it's more about the psychology of the content.
Okay.
Yeah, how best I can reach out to my audience and just get their attention as needed,
Yeah.
more than the aesthetic forms. The aesthetic forms will take care of themselves once you understand who you are targeting. So you can actually be producing a 2D stuff, which can be way expensive than 3D,
3D, yeah.
and it can also be vice versa. It all depends on
The
the
tools,
product at hand, yeah, the
yeah.
details in what you're producing.
Okay. Like when I reached out to you yesterday, um, like we're acquaintance. We've not really like had long lot of conversation, but I kind of follow your work. I see what your studio does, and I see like the awards you've done. So I know you're quite accomplished. When I reached out to you yesterday to ask to kind of have this interview with you, your response was quite encouraging. So, what was going through your mind when I messaged you, and what made you very open to the idea of kind of sharing your experience? Like, what were you feeling at that moment?
As I said, we've been acquaintance for some time now, and where we've even planned to collaborate on projects before. So to me, I feel like you coming to tell me that you want to interview me for your platform,
Yeah,
and also encourage those coming and, yeah, to inspire them. I felt like it's in the right direction. We are each other's keeper. That's what it is. So if you need my help today, I got to come through for you. And the same way, if I need anything from you, I come to ask if it's possible. Fine. If it's not, maybe some other time.
yeah,
But
definitely. Like
yeah, we got to have that kind of.
to me, this was just like a learning experience because definitely you've done certain things right to be at the stage you are. So definitely you have certain experiences that I could benefit from, and lots of African artists and just any artist in general trying to get started. Hearing from someone that has this much experience is definitely going to be very very valuable information. You started at animation studio in 2014. I'm pretty sure at that time it's probably more difficult compared to now, because we have more information available to us. So what made starting an animation quite attractive back then? And can you what kept you going through the process? Because I'm sure it's not the awards. It was not like probably the financial possibilities. So what made it more attractive, and what kept you going through the entire process?
Okay, so I think it wasn't. I. It wasn't even as if I was an entrepreneur. I became an entrepreneur by accident. I was a pure artist. I just wanted to create my art and be happy, right? But then the moment I completed school and I completed with my national service being an assistant teacher at the film school, the question of what next dropped into my head. So now you're done with your service. What are you going to do?
Yeah,
And after the time, I had an opportunity to work in a studio somewhere in UK, one of
nice.
the biggest animation studios in the world. Yes, I had an offer to work there, and I was also, so it was actually to stay and under a studio that is also producing offer. But unfortunately, I checked around and there was no animation studio which was producing animation on full-time basis. And there is no full-time running animation studio in Ghana as of the time. So, and the thing too is I really love Ghana, I love Africa, I love our stories. I feel like we have a lot to tell.
Yeah,
And each and every year, if our best animators or the guys with the great ideas should always ship their talents to the west
yeah,
or to the east, then who is coming to make it for us? There's nobody coming to build that industry that we've always been talking about. I remember when we were at film school, we were always talking about telling our stories. We got to tell our stories because, and now you get the opportunity to. So I had to drop the idea of traveling
okay,
and start from ground up, from the scratch. No matter what it would take us to build that studio, it took me to build it. But the fortunate part of it was I'm multi-talented. I'm able to edit. I'm able to shoot. I'm able to do sound. Like, put me anywhere in film and I'll function.
Yeah.
So I leveraged on all of these talents and I hustled hard through it to get gigs that will pay me, to be able to start buying my machines, bringing in people, and also paying them to be comfortable enough to sit to work. So I go work and I use my pay to come pay someone else to be able to
Yeah.
stick with me. You
I'm pretty
understand?
sure
Yeah. So
it was
that is
a
how.
comfortable time. Like yeah,
That is
just
how. Yeah, man, it wasn't. It was robbing Peter to pay Paul, and I didn't care because when you're pregnant with a vision, with an idea, there's nothing going to stop you from giving birth to it
yeah,
unless you have premature miscarriage. But then I had already gone through the process, that is schooling and all that.
yeah,
So giving birth was quite easy on that part because I had learned certain things from industry players. I've been to conversations, I've been to film festivals around the world. Even as a student, I was winning international awards. So it it already opened my eyes and my minds to what the industry is and how best I can penetrate.
yeah. No, definitely your motivation actually makes sense. It's like you had passion for this thing so much that you were able to take the risk. You are not looking to gain immediately. You wanted to just build something because you felt there was a need for that. And I think having more people like that is like gold um, for any
Yeah, and let
community.
me let me tell you something very important. So whilst I was a student, I told myself one thing. Before I started school, I was a graphic designer. I was printing T-shirts.
So,
I was doing all sorts of things, taking pictures, taking videos. So I told myself that for the 4 years course that I'm trying to learn how to produce animation films, I am not going to produce any animation film as a commission work. I'm not going to take any commission work. I'm going to use this time to make all the mistakes that I can make as a student. So I never ever have any product that I produce as a commercial work as a student.
oh wow.
I used the whole period to learn and make all the mistakes that I could make so that when I come into the industry, there wouldn't be uh, any chance for me to give unnecessary excuses.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that this is how it's supposed to be. I didn't know that this is a circumstance for doing that and doing this. When you do something that like this is how it will come about. I was just focused on how to get the product ready.
Yeah, I actually have a similar story. Like before I started getting commission project, I came to Philippines because that's where I'm currently staying. So I took up. I actually was
Mm.
looking for an animation related course or study, but I didn't have enough knowledge. So my school only had. I thought the closest thing to animation was IT, information technology, and that's what I ended up taking. But throughout the entire process, I never felt motivated to really focus on it because it was not my passion. I didn't even enjoy programming and stuff like that. But one thing I did when I got home always was just keep practicing. And for the duration of time I was in school, I never got any paid job. So most things I was just doing for the fun of it. So I can see the value in making mistakes before you get paid job because
Yes,
if you start getting paid job, you're not focusing enough, and you might be demotivated that
yeah,
you're not good enough, and that's not a valuable profession
yes,
for you.
yes.
Yeah,
Apart from that, the motivation to you'll be forced to learn shortcuts
yeah,
to be producing work on time,
yeah.
which will also affect your efficiency as an artist. Your full creative juice won't be there.
Yeah, and it even hurts your client base because probably they will not come back if you give them shitty work.
Yeah, your creativity stifles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, your company recently finished the Morphra series that you have on Amazon Prime now. So,
Yeah.
I know that's not something you just wake up and bump into, or you just scroll on Facebook and get an opportunity like that. How was the
Yeah.
experience for you? Like, how was the feeling when you saw a show that you worked on Amazon Prime?
I mean the feeling has been great because it's still a continuous thing.
Yeah.
I think it made us the first animation studio in Africa
Yeah, that caught my attention
to
actually.
achieve
Yeah.
achieve that. Yes, and it didn't just come by overnight.
Yeah.
Actually, Morphra idea was cooked up in the year 2017,
Wow.
and what we did was we were producing, and because of lack of resource, we had to shelve it.
Wow.
But when COVID hit, all our clients that were giving us commissions to sustain the studio started pulling out their projects.
Wow.
And I became a bit nervous because I didn't know what we were going to do, and also have people's children on me, people's
Yeah.
uncles
You
and
can't just
fathers
throw
on
them
me.
out.
And
Yeah.
yes, I can't just throw them out, and I can't also disappoint them in
Yeah.
terms of even what to work on to get. So it hit me that okay, children will still be in the house; they are not going to school, and this would be the best time to get through to them through audiovisual. So and Mofra is typically Mofra means kids,
Okay.
so Morphra channel, so kids channel. That is the main idea. So why don't we revisit this idea and see how best we can quickly wrap it up and package it for the market.
So you
But
actually
as
just
we were
went into it
producing,
as a risk. You were just throwing your best shot,
yeah,
taking. Okay.
yeah. I mean, life itself is a risk.
Yeah.
So if you don't take it,
Yeah, you will
what
not get
else are you
anything.
going to
Yeah.
do? Yes. So yeah, we quickly wrapped it up, and as we were working on it, I was also doing the background work, as in talking to hard-hitting agents. I know agents who go in and bring us the right deal or the right things that will push us forward. So before we even completed, we got ourselves an agent from Manhattan, New York,
Wow.
and they brought in Amazon Prime, and boom.
No, I was really happy with, and like, wow, this is actually something possible. That's the great thing about um, people that's ahead of you in certain things. Like, if when I see what you're accomplishing, it's like these things are possible, and because if people like you don't actually go before us and do certain things like this, it's like maybe no one will ever try because it's like maybe this is not possible. If people are more averse to risk, they will never have something like this. So
Yeah.
your work serves as an inspiration, and I hope people can look at what you do and kind of see there's limitless possibilities if you just take the risk and put work to it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing about us, I think it has been about the fact that we sabotage ourselves a lot in the sense that we havoc a lot of fear,
Yeah.
especially our race.
Yeah,
We are
definitely.
always concentrating on the negative things than what is possible. We are looking at what is not possible, and that is where our minds are mostly at, where we dwell in that a lot.
Yeah.
But then the moment you free yourself of that kind of mentality and just start looking at the bright side, I mean, the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
And animation, as you know it, like animation is definitely something which is also not a one-man pursuit.
Yeah, it's a team's project. Yeah.
Normally, someone will say, "Yeah, I'm so studio," but you don't know what it means
Yeah, I've
to
seen a lot
call
of that.
yourself a studio. You can't lock yourself in your bedroom with your laptop and
Yeah.
call it a
I
studio.
actually did
No,
that when I was
I,
starting out.
I admire that. Yeah, yeah, I admire that
Yeah.
courage, but bro, you don't know
Yeah.
what it means to
Yeah.
call it a
Yeah.
studio.
I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, so yeah, it's about teamwork, it's team play, and if you're able to bring people together, trust me, you'll be able to push forward. You'll be able to accomplish something great.
In your 7 years of running your company, I'm pretty sure there are some kind of obstacles and limitation which that has played a factor too. So, what kind of obstacles do you face developing and running a studio in a developing country?
Okay, so basically, the major obstacle that we face here in Africa, especially in this field, is resource.
Yeah.
Resource. That's the first thing. But to me, I think that is even the same thing that motivates me to move beyond, push beyond, because with the small that you have, what are you able to do to showcase and tell people that this is what I've been able to do with what I have, so I
Yeah.
need more.
Yeah.
But the major problem to me now is capacity building.
Yeah.
Capacity building in terms of infrastructure and in terms of the tech that we are using. We don't own the tech. We are users. We are consumers,
Okay.
and also it makes it very hard. Even if you want to achieve a particular thing, you would have to wait for someone to generate it, produce it before the
Music.
back pass to
Yeah.
you to use it. So we need to also own our own tech. By saying so, it means that we need our own Silicon Valley. Also, the technical know-how is another major problem. We have a whole lot of potential artists emerging each and every day. You know, Africa is the youngest continent in the whole world,
Yeah.
and our population is also mega. In the next, what do you call it? In the next 2 years, UNESCO statistics, they're saying that the population of Africa will be about 80% youth.
Wow.
So it goes to tell you that we'll be having a lot of young people around.
Yeah.
And these young people, the estimation for the creative arts to say about 40% of that will be creative artists. So if all of these people are coming into our field, that's digital art, and we had the power, or we had a upper hand on the technical know-how, we can be able to convert all of these talent and also human resource into animators
Yeah, definitely.
to produce more animations and to do more stuff in this field. But for now, as it is, we don't really have even enough schools teaching animation,
Yeah.
and the ones that we have to don't really
Yeah.
understand how
That
to
was actually my
produce
next
it
point.
outside the books.
Like, because honestly, that was going to be my next point that you just touched there. We like we have most Africans that I mean you can find talented people most places, but like you mentioned when we started is there is something you get from going to an art school, especially the soft skills, um, but there's still an advantage of like getting those technical skills, like knowing how industry does it in school,
Hmm.
and that's something we lack in Africa compared to like US.
Hmm.
I mean, even in the whole world, there are just little schools that actually do that perfectly. So talk more of Africa that we have just that limited. So how does that play into your recruitment process? What kind of process do you go to get the artists that are good for the job, or do you just look for freelancers or like people that are already solid in those places and not dealing with the educational factor?
Okay, so uh, we have two ways of recruiting our team. So we look at those who are already solid,
Okay.
yeah, and work with them, bring them in and
Yeah.
work with them. And also we look for those who are intermediate, those with some appreciable level of understanding of what you're doing. And I believe that because it's an emerging industry, we all get to grow together. We all
Yeah.
get to learn ourselves and also learn our tools together. And because if you don't bring people in to learn from each other, there's no way you can also grow,
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
because you need to grow with them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
it's
nobody has made it. Nobody has made it in Africa yet. Nobody has scratched the surface yet, no matter what. Like, no matter how many films you think you produced, like, nobody has made even a $50 million
yeah,
film.
and there's potential for
Yes.
that.
So,
That's the thing. Like
exactly.
we have lots of potential. Like our markets,
Yeah, we have a lot
with
of
the
potential.
population that will probably grow, is like that's lot of potential for a lot of industries,
Exactly.
and we are still
Yes.
like scratching the surface. And people need to do more and innovate more. And you're doing that already. And I'm
Yeah.
excited to what the future holds for you and your company. Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. We would like to work with you too in future.
yeah, definitely.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, as I was saying, so because of that, it only makes sense for you to bring in people that you can bet on
Yeah,
and run with them.
yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, because it's a business, you can't throw money on just on a project. You have the
No,
budget. Yeah,
no.
yeah,
You can't do that.
yeah.
You can't shoot yourself in the foot.
So, do you guys use Blender? Because this is actually a Blender channel. Most of my content is teaching people how to use.
Oh, Blender.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see. Let me see.
Okay.
Uh, so we don't discriminate too much.
Good.
So let me see if is this Blender.
Yeah, that's Blender. Oh, nice.
Okay. 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 So yes, we do use Blender. We do use. I mean, we have our in-house software that we like to use.
Okay.
The software we love to use most, but at the same time too, we don't discriminate because, as I said, the technical know-how is not there. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people who understand basic things, various things, and bring them together and leverage on that to get a uniform understanding and use that to build to the next level.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you feel Africa is ready for the animation industry? Because with Nollywood and like home movies, we've kind of nailed that to like a place where we have like just a nailed down pattern with movie and stuff like that. Do you think we're ready for animation? Do we have the right infrastructure in place? And by that I mean, is the education system good enough? Is animation a good profession to think about? And are we actually ready to market that as a storytelling medium?
I mean, we've been ready. We've been ready for a very long time. As I said, it's just about the fear factor. If we take it off, you'll be overwhelmed the kind of things that you see coming out of Africa.
Yeah,
Day in, day out, we see new artists pop up, new set of people come together to create a studio
yeah,
here and there. So we're ready. And come to think of it, all the stories or content that were produced from the big studios and used Africa as their backdrop, you can tell the kind of hits that they made
yeah,
worldwide, right? So it has also awakened the senses in Africans to know that hey, our stories are hotcake. Like
yeah.
the black dollar means a lot to the world. So yeah, we need to also wake up and take up space and just move on. So
Definitely.
yeah, the space is ready. Just drop in the right cheese or the right honey when you
Yeah,
see the
definitely.
piece.
And people open to take risk. Talking about that, so like,
Yeah.
what's the future of your company? Like, what would be a perfect place to be in 10 years? Like, how big do you want to be? Do you guys want to have any feature movie, full length movie?
Yeah, I mean the future of Animax, if I should say I can tell you or I've been able to fully analyze then I might be lying to you. The future is bigger than the word big. And but trust me, we will be one of the leading studios in the world and we will be the highest exporters of quality and authentic stories coming out of Africa
Yeah. Yeah.
to the world.
Definitely, you guys are already doing inspirational things, and we all be watching out to see what you guys do, and definitely we will show our support, and just keep getting inspired by the work you've done. So
For sure.
I also have like a selfish reason why I wanted to interview you. because I also plan to like have an animation studio when I get back to Nigeria. It's actually my plans.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm quite
Nice, nice.
as the time goes on, and I just keep doing commission work. I keep getting very comfortable, because it's like okay, I can trust this stable income keep coming. So I will just probably wait till I'm wealthy enough to open a studio, so it's not too much of a risk.
No, there's no right time, bro.
Yeah,
There's no right time. Just go. You see the fear. That is
yeah,
what I'm talking about.
yeah,
You're expressing it right here.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
yeah,
Yeah. So, like,
yeah.
what would you like to advise like artists starting out? So we can end with that. Like, what's something you want to tell someone starting out
Hmm.
to keep doing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Truth to be told, me as a person, I'm not even done advising my own self. Like, so to advise someone, I might not be having the right words to it. But what I can say is, whatever you're doing as an artist, trying to come into the industry or find your voice in the art industry, not just animation, you need to pay attention to details. Details, details, details. Whatever you're doing, you need to put your all into it. And also, you got to learn the soft skills because it doesn't just come with the hard skill of you being a good artist. You can be a good artist and be flawed in a whole lot of ways.
Yeah.
Uh, you need to learn the soft ones too as well.
Yeah.
Boom. The
So,
world will be a safe world.
yeah, definitely. Like, this has been a blast, and I think even for this short time, I think it was filled with information. And they say when you meet your heroes, you might be disappointed, but I was not. So, thank you so much.
I didn't know that I'm your hero.
No, but no, but it's kind of like I see what you do, and definitely the inspiration now. Like I said,
Thank you.
is when you see what's possible, it increases your so many people's horizon. They kind of believe in more
Mhm.
things possible. So I
It's
really
true.
appreciate you taking your time out to do this with me, and I'm very grateful.
For sure. And also tell your community that anybody looking for opportunity to work in a studio, they should drop their portfolio with us
Okay.
because we have something big coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to
We'd like to
leave
see
a
what you
link
guys have.
to your website on the description so that anyone that's interested in doing looking for a job, you can just
For sure.
email that. Yeah. Thank you so much.